So, hello folks. Welcome to the first video in this series where we will solve almost all DSA related problems from interview bit. So, here is our first problem, spiral order matrix. We have a matrix and we need to print the matrix in a spiral way. The question is pretty evident. So let's jump right into thinking about how we can solve this. For a given example, like say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we would iterate the matrix in this way. First 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 8, 7, 4, and then 5. So we have to print 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 8, 7, 4, 5. Right, this doesn't look easy, but the first thing that comes into mind is we can go layer by layer, right? This was an example for 3 into 3 matrix. Let's check out 4 into 4 matrix. Let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, and 7. So now we go through the first layer, and then we can see that this is a smaller problem but with different constraints. Like once the first layer is done, then the same problem repeats, but now it is a 2 into 2 matrix. And I think this is the pattern that I saw while solving this problem. So for like a general given case, when suppose we have a really big matrix, say starting from 0, 0 to 0, m minus 1, n minus 1, m minus 1, and n minus 1, 0. Given the dimensions are in this axis, the length of the array is m, and the width is n. So for this array, it makes sense to go layer by layer. Like the first layer would be this, covering all these numbers till here, and then we start the second layer. It would be 1, 1. Similarly to we have to reduce minus 1 from both the indexes because we are just going diagonally. This would be 1, m minus 2, and this would be n minus 1. We are going one step up in both the cases. This would be n minus 2, n minus 2. This point would be n minus 2, 1. So this would contribute our the second layer. So for now we have come to a conclusion that let's solve this problem layer by layer. So suppose for a given case, for example, we start. Let's generalize the first layer. How are we going to solve the any one layer of the problem? Suppose we have an index as x, y, and we go all the way to x, So we are iterating in this axis. So we are going from y to m minus 1, and then from here we are iterating the x. I mean, we are going through the y-axis from x to n minus 1, and now we are again going to the x-axis in the negative direction. Means from, since we have already covered the this index, we're gonna start with x plus 1 comma m minus 1 to this index. So let's write down all the possible iterations that we're doing. So let's call this as 1, let's call this as 2, let's call this as 3, and this is 4. So for 1, we're going from x comma y to x comma m minus 1. For 2, we're going from x plus 1 comma m minus 1 to n minus 1 comma minus 1. For 3, we are going from, since the n minus 1 comma m minus 1 term we have already covered in this iteration, we need to start from here till the last element over here, and then for the fourth we will start with this element to the second most element from here, because the x comma y has already been covered. So we will have the third one would be n minus 1 comma m minus 2 to what? N minus 1 comma y, and fourth would be from n minus 2 comma y to x plus 1 comma y. I hope this makes sense. It is, it got a little cluttered here, but so this is fourth, this is third, first, and this is the second. So this can, by now this would be the first layer of this problem. The second layer would be the same thing gets repeated, but we will have different coordinates. Like once the first layer is done, we will now directly jump to, we will do the same iteration but with different coordinates. Like from now we will have x plus 1, y plus 1, and okay, we don't need all these actually. We can just say, we can just increment x and y, both of them, by plus 1, and we can decrement n comma m by minus 1, by minus 1. Right. If it's a rectangle, then it makes sense that if this is the first layer, the second layer would be by incrementing x and y by 1 unit, and by decrementing, if this is x comma y and this is n minus 1 comma m minus 1, by decrementing n and m by 1 unit, we come across n minus 2 comma m minus 2, n minus 2 comma m minus 2, and this contributes, and then automatically if it's a rectangle we come across the other 2 points as well, and this would be the second layer of the problem, right? So I hope a sort of a pattern comes into the mind. Like we just have to make sure that we do it layer by layer. The first layer is done, and we also know the process how to jump from one layer to the other layer, right? So that being said, I think we should now jump into the problem, coding part of the problem. But before that, uh, okay. Yes. So suppose we have a function f of x which does our work of doing the layer, and x, this function has a parameter. It takes 4 parameter. For example, this function takes x comma y and n comma m. So once this iteration is done once, we call the function again. Now we call f of x plus 1, y plus 1, and n minus 1 and m minus 1, and this continues. But for how long are we going to continue this? Right? We, in the problem, it has been said that we need to return an array. So suppose we have an sort of a box which I imagine array as a box of values. So this is our array in which we keep pushing the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length of the array would be n into m, right? Because that n into m is the number of elements that is there in the matrix. So we can continue this whole iteration of moving from one iteration of the first layer to the other layer until and unless our array is filled. Once our array is filled, then we will be sure that we are good to go, right? Now I think this all will make sense once we see how I have coded this. Let's go to the solution and I will show you the way I have implemented this. I will paste my solution in the description, so if you want to understand or make suggest me any changes, please feel free to do this. So I have taken this n as a dot size, m as a0 dot size. I have taken this variable answer. I have declared a few variables x, y, n, m, and I am actually taking count, where as soon as I come across a certain value, I count the total number of elements that I have put in the variable answer. So here I start a while loop while ans that size is less than m into n. And okay, so we have 4 iterations, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like the way we decided. 4 iterations. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 iterations. So I'm doing 4 iterations from I is equals to y to I is equals to m minus 1, I less than m, and I'm just push backing the value into the answer and incrementing the count, and these 4 iterations basically. Every time I'm counting. Now I'm also checking if I'm not going out of bounds anywhere. Right, this is a very necessary step that you need to do. And I'm also checking, like, to make sure that I don't put any element more than that what is required. So I'm always checking if my count is less than the total number of elements that has to be in the array, making sure that I don't overput the values into the array. And this is it. At last we increment x and y and decrement n and m, and we return the answer. And this works. Let me again try to submit and just see. Okay. So I'll be back with another problem. So see you guys. Bye bye.